Now, today there's been some relief for prospective SHS students and their parents as a new website is launched to ease the placement chaos that appears to be working, and the website actually appears to be working efficiently. And despite this there's many candidates and their parents are still stranded as they race against time to either check their placement or place themselves. Now let's take you now on a tour to some areas where the placement exercise is being done. Foster Safo has been to Newtown here in Accra. Actually, Faustina Safo has been to Newtown here in Accra, and here's what she found.
055. New one or the previous one? Today marks the deadline of the 48 hours placement extension given by the Ghana Education Service to basic education certificate examination candidates across the country. A new website has been released by the Ghana Education Service, which is cssps.gov.net. And we're here to find out, today being the last day, how are students coping? Have they been able to access their placement? Are they even aware of the official website? We'll find out from them. This is one of the BEC candidates I have with me here. Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
So how did it go for you? Today is the last day.
It went well. It went well. We wrote it, but I'm sure that the marking was not marked very well. We saw that we wrote it, but we didn't get what we wanted.
You mean in your BEC score?
Yes.
But how did placement go for you? Did you find any difficulty accessing the site?
No, me, I did not find any difficulty. It came for me when I searched it now, and it came.
What website did you use?
I used the CSSP.
Yes. So it's working for you?
Yes.
Well, unlike our first students, I have with me a student who has been checking, but unfortunately has not received his placement yet. What happened?
From last 2 weeks, I've been checking the results, the school placement, but still, it was not coming. And even one of my friends had aggregate 38, but he had his placement. But me, I had 34, but still I've not had my placement.
So what are you going to do now? Today is the final day.
I'm going to check again for the last time. So I beg the government that if there's any help for we the ones who have not get our placement, they should please help us, because we all wrote the exams and I even did well. So if someone had 38 and me having the 34, some years get to school and me have not getting any of the 4 choices.
I have with me a parent here who has been trying himself to sort out the placement issues of his child. Hello, sir. How has it been so far? Any difficulties?
Yes, of course. First of all, the education is not enough, because a lot of people, even they don't know whether the result has come out. So that one too is a problem for us. And those who know that the result has come, then they're supposed to go to net. For instance, they don't have any access to this internet and this stuff. But we are trying to do, those who know that it is something going on, we have been trying for so many times. You have paid money, you do it, no result. You go and pay another one, you do it, no result. So we are appealing to the government, the minister, whether he can extend it or do something about it for us, because it is a problem for us parents now.
What are you going to do now? Because today is actually the deadline.
Even the deadline, I don't know. You just told me that today is the deadline, and the website is also jamming. And right now, you give me a new website that I can maybe try and see whether it can work for us. So I'm going to try it. Whether the new website that you have given to me right now, it will work or not. So that one, after trying it and see whether my child or my sister can have access to the free SHS.
Mixed reactions here, as some students are excited that they have received their placement and others, well, they haven't, and so they are sad because today marks the end of the 48 hours extension given by the Ghana Education Service. Well, though the internet cafe attendant refused to speak on camera, he has confirmed to me that even the new site, which I have introduced him to right now, is difficult to access. For some of the students, they're wondering if they would get a pick of this free SHS policy, and they are pleading to government to please extend the date so that they can also work out their placement. For Joy News, Faustina Safo.
All right, so that is what from here in the Greater Accra region. Let's proceed to the Central region where Richard Kojonyako is standing by. Hello, Richard. Richard, if you can hear me, yesterday you reported that, of course, students are stranded. Today, the Ghana Education Service has launched a new website. It's quite proactive. Is it working? Is it dealing with the problem that the previous website created?
It seems to be working perfectly because I've visited about 9 of such cafes there, even though these cafes are filled with parents, guardians, and the students themselves. I think they are recording some successes because I've been there where the students have used the self-placement system, and so students that hitherto did not have a school, now they're able to go through the system and then would be able to choose, or they are able to choose schools of their choice, even though their preferred choices might be full, but they have alternatives and options, and so they go through and then they choose these particular schools. I've been there and they've printed some of the sheets. There are others too that are going through some difficulty, but I mean, it takes time and then they go through. So today, I think there is a remarkable difference, a marked difference from what was happening yesterday. And some of the parents are really excited. Others too are racing against time. They feel that there should be a further extension of the time for them to deal with the situation they have on their hands, because almost all the cafes are filled to capacity. Others are standing outside. All of them want to go through the system before the day runs out. All
right, Richard, thank you very much. It sounds good. And even sounds better that the Black Stars have scored one more goal. So I'm sure that those who are stranded will take a bit of respite in that. All right, so the Black Stars leading with 3 goals right now. They're excited. Students who are looking to be placed or looking to place themselves are excited that the Ghana Education Service has raised another website. We'll be taking you through the website, like I said, and give you a few tips on how to be effective using that. But before we do that, well, let me just let you know that Kwabena Nkrumah, very well known as Spiky, has joined us in the studio. You're welcome.
Hi. Thank you very much.
Are you excited about Black Stars, by the way?
Yeah.
Oh, I can say you can't be bothered. Okay, no problem. They are happy, and of course, students are happy. So Spiky is going to give you bits and pieces of advice on how you can get through the system easily, so that we can prevent what happened, the clamoring, the clamoring that we had to go through yesterday, and that got you stranded. But before that, some parents who are still struggling to secure their wards placement masked up today at the Education Ministry in Accra. And Maxwell Edemamafa was there for us. Watch this.
The course they gave me to is different, and I'm not going to do agric. I'm rather going to do science, and they gave me agriculture. And the school I even had, I didn't choose it. So what's the essence of the free education? It means if you don't like the school you had, you have to go to another school and pay school fees. Then the free education system that they brought is not helping us.
No, they told you that when you don't get the school you want and you go for another school, you have to pay school fees.
Yeah, you pay school fees.
Who told you that?
I heard it from my friends. Yeah, and most of them didn't get school. Someone had 10. She didn't get school.
So which schools did you select?
I selected Infantimine, Ghana National, Agri Memorial, and Methodist Girls. That's what I chose.
They didn't give you any of that?
They didn't give me any of that.
What did they give you?
Mango Assis Senior High.
Mango Assis Senior High?
Yeah.
You don't like Mango Assis Senior?
I don't like it.
Why don't you like it?
Because the course they even gave me, that's not what I'm going to do. And I didn't even choose the school. I don't even know where the school is located. I don't even know anything about the school.
Be in a good grade. School.
Some of our wards had good grades but weren't placed in schools. They told us to go to the computerized school selection and placement center. I've been there, but to no avail. Now, they have given me this new sheet of paper to follow the instructions on it. I don't know what to do. One lady said she tried it, but it didn't work, so I'm reluctant to give it a try. I will try, but if it fails, I will seek shelter at the premises of the ministry. If we are going to encounter these challenges due to the introduction of free SHS, then I suggest we rather pay for the education of our wards.
The challenge is my child have selected school. They choose him, they gave him a school, place him in the Christian Methodist High School. But that Christian Methodist High School is a day school. And my child wanted to go to Body. Where I am living, where I am resident, is far from where they place my child. So right now, no, I'm here to see so that they will give him a change of the school because he wanted to go Body.
SHS, you are not placing him. And they said, yes, that is the situation. If I want, I should go to the free SHS secretariat and find out.
So what grade did your ward get?
My ward had 34.
34?
Yes.
So, but are you aware that there's a cutoff point?
For me, the cutoff point I know was for the free SHS, which is 24.
I would say that it's a bit of a mixed feeling. There are people who have had their placement and they're excited. They're going to school. They're not going to pay for it. But there are those, of course, like you heard, some of the parents who are obviously unhappy. Well, in the studio with me is Kobe Nkrumah. He's an IT expert. Let's see if he can give us a bit of help. But before we even go into how you can help us, why, from an IT perspective, what is the explanation that you can give to the sort of clamor that we saw yesterday with the previous website?
Yeah. You know, we've had this, let me take you back to during the elections.
Right.
Remember, a lot of websites went down during that period. That's because a lot of traffic. Traffic means a lot of people visiting the website at once. And in normal web terms, we host websites on servers, and then the servers can accept people, you know, a certain
only
number
so
of
much
people
at a certain
period of time.
Yeah.
So the advice is that mostly websites that expect traffic at a certain time to increase, you know, to have a scalable kind of service where when the number increases, then you're also increasing your capacity.
Yeah.
So they can have, you know, you can contain them.
So that's one way that they could have dealt with it yesterday, the GES.
Yes.
Right.
Or you could have anticipated that, you know what, I will be getting a lot of people, so let me pay for a big server once and for all.
Okay.
But, yeah.
So it's obvious from what the problems that we've encountered yesterday that we didn't have enough bandwidth. I think they themselves have admitted, but they could have. It's just a matter of money, right?
It's a matter of money and a matter of policy. You know, it's an institution. You don't know what kind of things you have to go through to get certain things done. So.
And is it also a matter of expertise, the ability of people there, or people who are running the system to be able to anticipate the crowd? That will be
I think it is more of the anticipation. Sometimes, you know, you might anticipate that, oh, I will get about 100,000 people before you realize you have 500,000 people. So it was a matter of anticipation. They were expecting that they might get a certain number, and then it exceeded the expectation.
Okay. So, well, it appears to me from this explanation that perhaps we did not plan properly, because if it's about anticipation, then we should have known the number of students who will be accessing, who will be accessing their placement and those who want to place themselves. But, well, it's still a new system. We should learn, even though some people have said from yesterday that we have been dealing with the school placement system, you know, for 5 years. So even though we're adding on, we should have been able to manage it properly. Now let's go to this is how the site looks at the moment. Ministry of Education, Ghana Education Service. This is a new website that has just been launched. We're told so far, especially we've just checked with the central region and here in Accra, that it's working. Even though what the problem is that people are not happy with the results they're getting. Exactly. But what can you tell us about the new? I mean, educate the people who want to access this particular page.
It's the same as before. So you just do the same thing. You enter your BEC index number in the first space below, and then you enter the card serial number you purchased. And then you put that from the scratch card, and then you put it in there, and you enter your PIN on the scratch card, and you submit. But being a database, you know, where it has to go call for a request and then come back, there might be times where there may be downtimes. It's normal. People should just relax.
Okay.
Usually, in such situations, I usually advise people, you do it quite early in the morning where there's not a lot of people doing it at the same time.
Well, how do you know that the people that you're trying to
outwit?
Yes, that they're also taking their time to do it in the morning.
So, yeah, but you and I
there
know
isn't much you can do, right?
The daytime is when 90% of people will be doing it. And, you know, they should have anticipated, because now everybody has a cell phone. Everyone has a mobile device. So a lot of people would do it in their house. Previously, people used to go to internet cafes, go to their friends' computers. But now I pull out my phone and I'm doing it. So you do it if it's, you know, if you just wait for a bit and then try again.
So give us again the periods within which you
early in
advise.
The morning, I would advise early in the mornings, you know, like in the AMs when not a lot of people are awake, or later in the evening towards like from 9-ish going. Because with every system, with every internet, you know, service, there's the peak time where almost everybody is visiting that website. Remember back when internet came in those days, when you wanted to, you know, get faster speeds, you'd browse late in the night.
Right.
Because a lot of people would be sleeping at the time. So
in
it's the
the
same
morning,
mentality.
late at night.
And late at night, yeah.
In the morning, late at night. And when you're working it out and it's not really going as smoothly as you want, relax, do it again.
Yes.
So you keep trying. Keep trying.
But from what people have said, I think it's quite stable now. So, yeah. So we hear that people are suffering again, and you might have to do the early morning. And
okay, thank you so much, Spikey, for that advice. So he always gives us good IT advice, doesn't he? If you are having any issues, just relax, keep trying, try it over and over again. And the best times that you could do this is in the morning and in the night, because it is expected that around those times people are relaxed, people aren't, you know, checking the website out, so it gives you the sort of free way to operate. All right. Well, we're still talking about the education system, and we do know that the Education Ministry has said that it will not enforce the Tuesday deadline that was announced at the weekend. Matilda Bomega has been speaking to the Deputy Education Minister, Dr. Yao Osei Educhum.
I would say it's a guidepost. I would say we are using that to measure how fast we can move things. No student is going to be told you cannot benefit from this great vision of our great president because it's Tuesday. It's not going to happen.
So it's possible that after Tuesday, people will get the opportunity.
Of course, madam. You see, there can be hiccups here and there. But we want to make sure that students are not disenfranchised. They are not. We don't remove them from the opportunity to benefit from this great vision because they did not complete everything on Tuesday.
Talk even about deprived communities. You have areas that are hard to reach. They do not have access to electricity. Talk of internet service. These people would have to travel miles to get this, go through the entire process. I know already we are facing some technical hitch. How are we addressing that? Because it appears, I see a lot of parents too around trying to get some answers. How are they going to be able to go through this process?
Yeah, madam, I happen to be the member of parliament for Bosomtwe constituency, which happen to have a huge rural population. So I understand. I understand what you are talking about. And as a child, I grew up in a rural area, so I have the sentiments, and I live the sentiments of rural people. So I understand that. I also understand that there may be some people in urban areas who may not have access to the internet readily. So that is why I prefaced my discussion earlier that we are not going to cut people off. We understand. You see, technology works in a very unique way. Because everybody wants to get in, the door is locked. If I open the door to this office and we have 100 people who want to get in, what will happen? Nobody will allow the other one to get in. So there's struggle, stampede. So we have a technical stampede. But people are getting, as more people get in, then it eases up. And as I sit here with you, we are making plans to really scale up the server capacity to ensure that more people can get in. After my interview with you, that is what I'm working on.